Sequilibrium, sequilibrium. Two guys sound like they're sucking helium. Sequilibrium, sequilibrium. Sitting on their freaking bums.
It's almost like it's your first time.
Almost like that.
It's almost like you're a virgin lighting the black flame candle.
That's right.
I mean, after a long hiatus, as long as we took, I mean, it's like you're a born-again virgin. Because that's a thing, right?
That's it.
I mean, I've heard that being a thing. People saying, oh, yeah, I'm a born-again. Like, Bible thumpers, right?
Right.
So, in that sense, if you believe that and then you accidentally light the black flame candle, like, would it work?
I don't think so.
I mean, this podcast is full of questions that need to be answered.
Yes.
So we can get into some Hocus Pocus questions.
Sure. But let me just add that yesterday we were on the verge of a Hocus Pocus conversation, and I could tell you started to get heated because I mentioned how I didn't think that this movie stood the test of time.
Yeah, how I don't get that at all. I don't get that
You're
at all.
worked up right now.
I don't get that at all. I'm sitting here watching it and I'm just smiling, thinking of watching it at my Aunt Fran's when it came out. And how it cannot stand the test of time, at least for me. I just don't get how it couldn't for others.
I see how it could for others. I
but it doesn't for you.
Completely see that, but it doesn't. And maybe because I watched it so much, there are those children's movies that when I was a kid, I just fucking wore them out. And noticing that this was released in '93,
yeah, dude, you were like much older to wear out a movie like this.
Yeah.
You're a fucking weirdo. It's Halloween. Can we watch Hocus Pocus? And like Chad's like 15 years old. Instead of going out playing like fucking ice and whatever his buddy's name is, Jay, and fucking TVing and stealing candy. You're at home fucking sitting on the floor Indian style watching fucking Hocus Pocus. No, I'm just fucking with you. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Did you watch it that much? Because I was 12 years old when this movie came out. So I watched it once. I enjoyed it. I watched it every once in a while during the holiday season, but never outside of October.
See, and we mentioned the sexual innuendo all throughout the film
Tons of
earlier.
it. Tons of it.
And what's funny is I could have sworn that I had shown my girls this movie, and none of them seemed familiar with it. And then my eldest mentioned how she remembers being 8 or 9 and on YouTube watching a clip from Hocus Pocus, and I came in and seemed upset about the clip.
Yeah.
Well, I would bet anything based on the number of scenes with sexual innuendo that's why I was upset more than anything. But that's something she remembers from her childhood.
That's pretty funny because it's not like they're hiding it.
No.
At all.
No, not really.
When Danny mentions to Allison that she doesn't have, what do you call it, Max? Yabos?
Right.
To fill it out? Like, I mean, they're just straight up dancing around the word boobs. And, I mean, so there's the Yabos, there's the virgin, there's You'll Hate Me in the morning, which I thought was fucking hilarious. Mm-hmm. There's the guy that's like, hey, I may not get it right the first time. The bus driver. I mean, like, that whole scene was fucking horn dog central. And I'm not complaining. I think it's funny and it works because every child's movie has adult humor in it for the adults for being forced to being dragged to watch fucking Shrek. Right. Yeah. But this does not hide it. This isn't like, horse envy from Shrek or whatever, or height envy.
Yeah.
This is straight up causing kids to ask questions. Like when I was watching it and earlier today, and the whole virgin thing, I remember not having to ask it, but thinking that that's weird, and that there's kids that are probably like, what's a virgin? And the mom and dad are like going to have to explain that. And now it's going to be like, well, the concept is a little bit more difficult these days. You know, back then we were just like, oh, it wasn't when two people love each other and then they just expressed it. Why am I explaining it as if this was fucking sex ed on Sequilibrium? But you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm fucking saying. I think that's fucking funny. But I think it's still great. So, like, what is it for you that makes it not stand the test of time?
I mean, really, that's a great.
Yeah, you should have fucking practiced in the mirror before we got started.
Great question. Really is. I think the witches do a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
You know, it's over the top in a way that I can enjoy, and I like that about it. Again, back to that, though, all the sexual stuff, it really being a kid's movie, that takes it down quite a bit for me.
Oh, it makes it more enjoyable for me.
So when I was younger, I watched it, I don't know, let's say over the course of 2 years, like quite a bit.
Oh, my God.
And then I just didn't watch it.
Yeah, yeah.
And
you got icked out by all the kids. Boob talk.
So even that moment I'm talking about, me seeing my daughter watch a clip of it, that was probably the first time I had seen it since I was 13.
That's so fucking funny to me. Jesus, Chad. I didn't know you were like a churchgoer. That's like churchgoer type of behavior. We can't watch Harry Potter. It's got magic. We can't watch Hocus Pocus. They talk about boobies. I would be more angry that they didn't just come out and say, what do you call them, Max? Tits? You know?
Yeah.
I'd have been like, fuck, that's awesome. But then again, it wouldn't be a Disney movie. It'd be like an A24 movie.
Right.
What I wrote some things down. Winnie says, I can't remember the scene. It's early in the movie, but she says, cheese and crust, which is basically saying Jesus Christ. And I think that's fucking hilarious. Again, like, this movie is fucking smart and funny when you think about it. From Disney, like I sent you the picture of what Max was drawing in class before he hit on Allison.
Right.
It's a fucking giant weed leaf right above the Grateful Dead logo.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who fucking somebody had to say that was okay. The censors had to say that was okay.
Yeah. It's weird that didn't pop up everywhere.
How did that?
I mean, I've never seen it before.
I discovered that like maybe 7 years ago when I was watching Hocus Pocus on Halloween. Yeah, I was like, what the? Because for some reason when I watch things, I don't focus on the main thing. I like watching all the shit going around the main thing. Like, I love background characters. I love seeing how they interact in the environment and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I catch little things like that. Like, I was watching Raiders of the Last Crusade, and Sean Connery is holding the newspaper upside down when he's flying in the Zeppelin. I never noticed that. I never saw that on like a clickbait thing. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing I noticed was Elsa pours water into her hand and then drinks the water from her hands. Like, what the fuck is that? So I love catching all these like weird things. So it's kind of like you forcing me to watch that 4 minutes over again where nothing happened, but yet you thought something did.
Yeah. I'm gonna thank you for that.
For what?
For that happening.
Oh yeah. Well, you're welcome.
Yes.
What was the thing I was talking about? I don't remember.
You said you had questions.
Oh yeah, like who approved? Oh, and then the other thing is when I sent you was the Hellraiser skateboard.
Yeah.
Who went out and said that was okay?
Yeah.
Who said, like, the imagery of that? I mean, I get it. It's Halloween, but is a single person in this fucking movie a horror movie character to show that it's Halloween? Is there Michael Myers in there anywhere? No, but Pinhead is fucking right up there. The sex demon Pinhead.
Just like one of the crew members wrote it
Yeah.
to the set.
Also, I love the placement of it. It's as if fucking Max, when he like ran up there to go pout and run away from his sister, threw the skateboard down, and that's where it landed. And they're like, that's perfect.
Right.
Leave it right there.
Yeah.
So if I have any complaints about this movie, it's stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with, I think it's fucking awesome, dude. I laughed so hard so many times, and I've seen this movie at least probably 15 times.
Well, yeah, you told me the other day you watch it every year on Halloween.
On Halloween, yeah.
And I think that's where lies the difference is it's fine. It's a good movie.
You're so fucking crazy, dude.
It's fine.
It's so fucking
It's
Halloween.
fine.
It's so Halloween. This was
But
the last.
I couldn't watch it every year.
So this was, I moved to Washington in 94. So I was 13 years old. This was the last year I went trick-or-treating, was this movie.
Oh, really?
Because when I reached that age where I could go one more year and it be socially acceptable, we moved to out in the middle of nowhere. You couldn't go trick-or-treating unless your parents drove you 20 minutes to the town.
Right.
And so I never got to go trick-or-treating again, and I think that's probably why I love this movie so much.
Soundbite right there.
Yeah, I had to wet my whistle because I was talking so much. Because I have so much to say about this movie, and Chaz just sits back and he's just like, yep. Yeah, I don't give a fuck about it. It's whatever.
It's not that I don't
It's
give
whatever.
a fuck about it.
I mean, I could have done with a Beaches too. Why do we got to do Hocus Pocus 2? Why couldn't they have done a Beaches 2 and that woman who died of cancer comes back to life? Did you ever see Beaches?
No.
I think that's what happens. I saw it once when I was younger. I remember really enjoying it, but I never watched it again. Like, I loved Bette Midler. That's another thing, too. Ruthless People, fucking hilarious, dude. Rose, great movie.
Well, Bette Midler was the best part of this movie.
Sarah
Jessica Parker.
I was going to say, the one time I would say I've ever been physically attracted to Sarah Jessica Parker is Hocus Pocus. And I remember feeling that way as a kid.
I don't remember feeling that way as a kid.
Well,
I feel that way now as an adult.
I mean, I think years later, you're just kind of like, I did not find her physically attractive. I feel so. I'm going to cut this part out. Anyway, Sarah Jessica Parker and Mary. I forgot the actress's name, Kathy something. She's so fucking hilarious. Watching this movie almost made me. Actually, not almost. I really am going to ask you, do you want to do Sister Act 2 next? Because she's so fucking great.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Because this is the Halloween season. We could do another horror movie and hold Sister Act 2 for later. Mm-hmm. But because of how delightful she is in Hocus Pocus and how delightful she is in Sister Act, I definitely want to do Sister Act 2.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. And it's weird because the other day I thought about Sister Act 2.
Back in the habit.
I walked by the electronics department and there lied on vinyl the soundtrack to Sister Act 2.
Yeah, that same aunt who loved Disney movies loved Sister Act, and she would always play that soundtrack. I will follow him wherever he may go. I fucking know that movie, dude. That's probably why I went and saw Sister Act 2 in the theater.
Nice.
Not because I was a huge Lauryn Hill fan, or eventually become a huge Fugees fan. So you want to watch Hocus Pocus 2, or do you want to have anything else to complain about Hocus Pocus 1?
Nothing to complain about. What would you rate 1?
6.5 or a 7?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm still at a 5.
6.5 for the movie, 7 because of nostalgia.
Yeah. I think 5 mostly nostalgia for me.
Well,
mostly nostalgia. Yeah.
I mean, everything you hear is an opinion, so that's okay.
But hey, Hocus Pocus 2.
I mean, I haven't heard a single damn thing about it other than I watched that wonderful trailer. I'm really excited to see if Max and Allison had a kid and all of this shit. Like, if there's connection to the first one other than the Sanderson sisters.
Yeah.
Let's do this!
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hocus Pocus 2.
There's nothing wrong with it.
I could tell you a lot of things I think are wrong with it.
I'm just saying, for a sequel made 30 years, just short of 30 later,
just short, yeah.
with the same actresses playing the witches, it's probably better than I expected.
It's not as good as I expected, but there's things that I did not expect, which the sisters finally get more lines. I feel like Sarah Jessica Parker and Kathy, whatever her last name is, who plays Mary, had way more dialogue in this one than they did in the first one.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of why you were a little bit more annoyed by Sarah Jessica Parker in this one, because you hear more from her.
Yeah, no, they all did great.
I'm
Don't
not
get me
saying that
wrong.
they did great, but I'm not a fan of her work. So what I like about her in Hocus Pocus 2 is like the one-liners she would say.
Yeah.
Her being the one to lure the children, I was like, that's perfect. Looking for a rat tail, boy, crazy, great. But in this one, it's just like, I just see Carrie, and I did not like Sex in the City.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, it wasn't my thing is why I didn't like it. She's great in Mars Attacks. I just, you know, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
What did you think of the Roombas, Chad? What did you think of Mary's Roombas instead of getting a broom down aisle 13?
Ridiculous.
Where the Swiffer duster was there only one Swiffer duster in Walgreens that only Sarah could have, and Winnie had to get. And when the fuck did Walgreens start selling Roombas? Anyway, it's a little too high end on the Walgreens side.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
It was stupid. It was so stupid, but it was a great way to. How are we going to get the salt barrier
Right. Couldn't
broken?
you think of a better fucking way?
I know. It's like that was the only idea of how they could come up with breaking the salt barrier. So they're like, well, we got to come up with a backstory as to why the Roombas are chasing him around Salem.
I would rather a strong wind have come.
I mean, we've seen that before.
Blown the salt away.
We've seen that before in movies that require salt to bury themselves from witches, where it's like, oh no, don't break the seal. Oh, we broke the seal. But yeah, this one was dumb in that sense. I did not like the one way or another Blondie dance sequence. Like they were totally trying to get I put the spell on you, and for just some reason 93 just hit better than 2022.
Yeah. Yeah.
That whole
they didn't completely fail. I'll give them
they
that.
didn't. It was still great. I was still like, you know, along with it, but I mean, it's just one of those things where you can see that they're trying too hard, and it's just kind of like it makes it fail even more because you can see how hard they were trying to recapture the past. Like, oh my God, how many times did they bring up all the shit that happened in before? Like they had the whole fucking recap episode before they played the part 2 episode.
Yeah.
It was annoying. And there was no other connection to the characters from the first one. Like, were you telling me Thora Birch didn't want to be like the teacher giving them the pop quiz?
Yeah.
Or, you know, Max and Allison are married and maybe he's the mayor of Salem, and you didn't do the whole descendants thing. Like, I hate the preacher, and so I have to hate his descendant.
Yeah. You talked about before we started watching about them using the word virgin so much.
Oh yeah, this was great. I love this.
Explain it to the kids, and they did a really good job of playing off that.
They totally did. It was almost like algorithm style, and Arby's heard me wanting Arby's, and it showed up on my Instagram. They were like, the kid's like, "What's a virgin?" And the dude trying to explain it was like someone who's never lit a candle before. Fucking perfect.
Yeah,
so funny.
Yeah,
but the cat Cobweb clearly was a Zachary Binks nod. They even mentioned that is it Zachary Binks, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah. And I thought it was going to be.
I thought it was going to be too. Like somehow he was like, oh fuck, I got torn away from the netherworld and now I'm a cat again. Oh shit. Yeah. And then also, why is the book a good thing? In the first one they explained that Satan gave it to Winifred and it is bound in human flesh.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it's in the hands of these good witches. and they use it as well.
Yeah, the continuity wasn't there. When you pointed that out, I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
The beginning was awesome. The beginning was great.
Yeah.
I really loved the Disney logo. Is that Snow White's castle or Sleeping Beauty's castle being converted into like a Salem style house in the opening? I love the whole 16-year-old Winnie and her sisters. I really wish maybe that had been Hocus Pocus 2, like the origin of the Winifred sisters. Because like in the beginning, I said that this feels like they're the heroes of the story. Like they're being just abused.
Yeah.
Even the shop owner said, "Oh, they're not bad. They just, they were dealt a bad hand, and so this is how they only knew how to react." Like there was so much social commentary in this movie that was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, don't hoard the power for yourself. Share it with your friends. Share it with your sisters. The church is bad. I'll be fucking perfectly honest. That's how the movie described it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like the way they treated her. She took the Lord's name in vain. And like the church is the end all be all of this community. Mm-hmm. And they have the power to banish Winifred. Mm-hmm. It was like this Disney is finally talking about these bad things. Drag queens.
Yeah.
During the Sanderson sister contest, like Disney's awesome. Disney's becoming extremely progressive.
Yeah.
In a great way. I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm like, I love the direction they're going because it's all about love and kindness to all people. And they're not hiding it.
And you could almost say that is one of the areas as far as continuity goes that they stuck with when it comes to Hocus Pocus.
Bring it closer.
When it comes to Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Because that was fairly progressive for a live-action Disney movie, I think, when it came out in 93.
Oh, totally. Well, like we said before, with all like the sexual innuendos, it was really laid on thick in that. So I would say it's just, progressive in that sense.
Yeah.
So, Chad, what do you think? What did you like? Which one do you like better? Which one would you watch every Halloween?
Oh, the first one.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. I'm done with. I'll never watch Hocus Pocus 2 again. Oh, maybe I will in like a couple years.
I might. It would have to be an event, Hocus Pocus 2 back to back.
I mean,
in the theater.
When they bring out the third one, because there's a second black flame candle. Like, where did that come from? How did that happen? Who made that candle?
Yeah, it's just in case. Just in case they score big with this one, they've got a reason to make a third. Write a third.
I feel like they did do a Hocus Pocus book. They did. Like one of those, this is my side of the story type of books. I'm going to look it up just to see if I'm right. Because I didn't look it up before. Why don't you tell me more about your favorite parts of Hocus Pocus 2?
Just like Hocus Pocus 1, the witches. Really. Every scene that they were a part of. I didn't think the child actors were all that exceptional at all.
I don't know. I really liked them.
Did you?
Yeah.
They were likable.
Yeah.
But that's all they were. They didn't really add much to the story. It made me feel anything beyond them being likable.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely had the whole craft thing going, and when they were talking about going to watch a movie, I almost wondered if they were gonna say the craft.
Yeah,
could Disney allow that?
Maybe.
Yeah, there's a Hocus Pocus book called "And the All New Sequel," and that came out a couple years ago, 2018.
I mean, they might just shit a third one out, considering their age. At this point,
I mean, I'll be honest, to see a third one would be rad with the new sisters, like the new coven in Salem, and seeing what they're going to be doing. Like, they're the heroes. Like, some evil shows up to town and they have to defeat that evil. And like, it's just kind of like a new chapter in the Hocus Pocus world. Like, I feel like movies like this need constant fucking releases. Keep the world alive. Like, it's so fucking cool. Why wait 30 years to do Hocus Pocus 2?
Right.
And it's awesome how they aged so well, where it wasn't like they explained that they did the potion, and they came back to life in the same age, in the same state that they were in, because they only ate one child. They're aged. They need to eat a child to, get younger. Yeah. Didn't really need to explain it.
I mean, at the same time, how amazing is that? It's weird movies like that, because Hocus Pocus, it was wildly popular, especially after it came out on home release. Why didn't it have a sequel?
I don't know. I don't know. Were they really not into putting out sequels back then?
I guess.
I'm sure somebody was like, "Oh, we don't need to do The Witch. They blew up and they died, and end of story."
Yeah. I mean, they could have made money on it. 97, 98. I bet it would have brought in big at the box office.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Disney really wasn't all about pumping out the sequels. I mean, they did do like Jafar 2 or Aladdin 2, right. Return of Jafar, and that type of shit. Lion King, I feel like, is the one that got the most.
Yeah. With
1.5 and then 2.
I did think that was weird when I was a kid, because Return of Jafar, that was a home release, right? That
yeah. Disney
never even hit theater.
Disney never did like sequels in the theater.
Crazy.
It was always straight to movie release. It was never the same voice actors, except for like Gilbert Gottfried did the voice of Iago in the TV show, but it wasn't Robin Williams. I think it was the guy who did the voice of Homer. That was the genie. Yeah, yeah. Which always so made me wonder, like, how. I mean, like, the genie was free in the TV show. He just kind of like hung out with them because he's like, oh, yeah, you got nothing better to do. I don't got any friends. I've been in the fucking land for like 3,000 years. You're like the only people I fucking know. And they're like, Genie, can you give us a fucking break? Like,
right.
Get out of here.
Does he still have powers?
Yeah, he still has. Yeah, which you would think he's being freed.
Right.
So he would lose all of his abilities.
You would think.
He's just a normal fucking guy now. He's no longer blue. He can't take his head off. He's just a normal fucking dude.
That's what confused me at the end of Aladdin.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a second.
Oh, now he's going to Disneyland? Yeah. It's fucking ancient Egypt. How the fuck is he going to Disneyland? And in this movie, it was such a good ending. It wasn't like they were defeated. You know? They didn't defeat themselves. The moral of the story was they defeated themselves.
Yeah.
By seeking power.
Yeah.
And Winifred lost the sisters, and so she basically accepted, okay, well, I'm going to lose my power, and I would rather be with my sisters. Like, it was a sweet ending, unlike the original, where it was like, these are fucking bad people, bad witches.
Yeah.
And they get defeated by the good people. Yeah. I don't know. Which ending do you like better? They were like almost given a gift.
Well, there's a lot of things about this movie that I like more. I think I do like the ending better, and I like their return.
I love their return. I love how they showed up.
I love how they showed up. Plus, it was just obviously all shot so much better.
I mean, because 30 years later, effects, budget, all of this shit take into account.
All that being said, I still like the first one better than the second one.
I mean, I love how fucking dark the first one is.
Yeah.
There was something else that I was going to say that I was like, I can't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue. It was on the fucking tip.
He's thinking, people.
I'm thinking so hard.
Digging deep.
Oh my God. What is it? I just, they're not heroes. And they were given the heroes ending.
Yeah.
They wanted to murder the entire fucking town of Salem. Now, granted, yes, they were misunderstood, but they still wanted to do all that shit, and so yet they were given this this graceful parting. So what's going to happen when they come back on the third one?
Maybe there's
there's a BF too, a bad fucker too.
Yeah. Maybe they're helping.
The only way we can get through this is if we bring the Sanderson sisters back, and they show up, and it's kind of like a Deadpool situation where they're like bad people, but they're also like, well, we do want to do what's right.
Right.
That sounds like a terrible movie.
Sounds pretty awful.
I definitely would not want to watch. That's a straight to fucking DVD release right there.
I don't even think that reaches production.
Yeah, I would really like a third one, but young sisters. I want to see them on the rise.
Yeah, I mean,
And if they're going to stick to that route, if they're going to go that route, they would have to totally stick with the whole Satan aspect. I don't know why they didn't do that at all.
I would have been cool with more of them in this movie, but I don't know about a whole separate movie.
Of them as younger?
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
yeah, I guess maybe half and half or something. Kind of like a Godfather 2 thing where it just jumps back and forth.
Because we can agree they could have easily cut 15 minutes out of this movie.
They could have shaved a lot of fucking time off the movie.
I mean, cut 20 out, put that in.
That would have been rad.
Good.
That would have been really fucking cool. Yeah. Progress to like see more of the Billy, like, you know, her killing him and all that fucking shit too. Yeah. Like there's a lot of that backstory that would be kind of rad to see.
Yeah.
I don't fucking remember what it was when we were talking about 1 and 2 and the differences and the similarities and what we liked, and I can't fucking remember what I was going to say. So I'm just going to bring up, how the fuck did someone get a copy of Hocus Pocus in the universe of Hocus Pocus?
Oh, yes.
I mean, is that a nod to Mel Brooks in Spaceballs, watching Spaceballs, or what? And then the background characters dressed as Satan and dressed as Penny Marshall, which when we were watching the movie, I told you I forgot to mention how much I loved those two in that original. It was so fucking funny. Penny Marshall, so great.
Yeah.
And then the Madonna character in the dance scene. Yeah, just a lot of like those kind of nods.
Not as many as I thought, though.
Why couldn't they have made Max a fucking cop or something?
Yeah.
Or where's Ice? Where's Ice? Why isn't he like Ice, like the mayor's assistant or fucking something?
Yeah.
Like I'm sure. Oh man, what do you expect me to do with my afternoon? Maybe learn to breathe through your nose.
Yeah,
I forgot all about those Max parts that we could have brought up about the first one. He was actually really a good character.
Yeah.
In the first movie.
Yeah, he was.
He was annoying.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Allison, and then he's like, I'm going to play my drums because I'm upset. Yeah, we really didn't touch on a lot of that stuff. I was really excited to watch this movie, but now I'm just like, I'm glad I saw it. I'm not as thrilled or as excited as I was.
I would give it a 4. I'd give the first one a 5.5.
I'd give this one a 5.
Would you?
Yeah. Because like it's not that I hated it. It's just not that it wasn't that good. It was a try-hard sequel. That was gross. That was my throat making a funny sound. Did you hear it in your headphones?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
We're going to have to do Avatar 2, you know.
Well, I haven't seen Avatar.
Never?
No.
It's not terrible. All right, IMDb rating on this movie, 6.1.
Yeah, it's about what I would expect.
6.1. That's not terrible. All right, so let's see what 1-star ratings, what people really hate it about this movie. Oh, yeah, so there's a picture I posted of me on the Instagram at Sequilibrium Podcast of me and Doug Jones, who played Billy. So I went to Buffy Fest in Chicago for WizardCon. It was just kind of like a side thing they had going on at WizardCon. And you paid like $400 and you got event passes, but then you also got like photo ops with Buffy character or actors from Buffy. And Doug Jones is he played the gentleman and he played like a couple other monsters in it, but he also played Billy in Hocus Pocus, and he was Abe Sapien in Hellboy. He was the monster with the eyes in Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh yeah, that's super cool.
I believe so. Yeah.
Well.
Anyway, so like I go up for my picture with him, and I had this big ass red beard, and he like puts his hands in my beard. He's like, "Oh, I like your beard," and he like tickled it. It was awesome. It was so fucking cool because I didn't ask him to do that. He just like did it on his own.
Right.
And then so when we were getting our picture taken, I was like, "Hey, can you put your hands in my beard and make like a creepy face?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." Like he was totally into it. Yeah. So that's my story about meeting Billy.
It's a good photo.
Yeah, it's awesome. I have others that I don't want to share because my face is so red and I'm so nervous and excited that I look so terrible. Also, I'm wearing a shirt that said, who wants a beard ride? And I feel like such an asshole for wearing a shirt that says that.
How long ago was that?
10 years ago? So not that long ago?
Oh, hey, I was going to ask you. I'm so glad you said that. Before these reviews. Okay. You were talking about going to Disneyland.
Yeah.
In one of the episodes.
Yeah.
It was the Pirates of the Caribbean episode.
Okay.
Said you had gone on the ride. You had done a few things. Was this after the movie had come out?
Yeah.
So the first Pirates of the Caribbean came out in what?
2003?
2003. So you're 40 years old right now.
41.
41.
Yeah.
So you would have been, what, 22 on the airplane with the Pirates hat?
No, that was when I was a kid. And I was 8 years old.
So it was pre.
No, it was way before the movie. Way before the movie.
This isn't adding up in my head. What's he talking about?
Way before the movie. Chad, you forgot. We were wealthy as kids.
Yeah.
Not really, no.
Say that makes one of
I went
us.
to Disneyland twice, actually. That's true. I did go to Disneyland twice as a child.
Did you?
And then twice as an adult, yeah.
I went once. I barely remember it.
I love Disneyland. I really want to go again, especially for Halloween, because they turned the Haunted Mansion into Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, really?
And I'm sure they do something fucking cool for Hocus Pocus, too. I'm sure. Like, I mean, I have been there during the Halloween season, like early October, but I want to do, like, on Halloween. I can't imagine how fucking rad.
Yeah.
How rad it would be. All right, here we go. Lazy Disney Channel girls movie that is ultimately just sad. There's going to be a lot of these, I feel like. Mm-hmm. The writing, the story, and the supporting cast are just lazy. From the editing, the whole thing appears to be a series of lumbering, soul-sucking master shots made on the cheap L.A. Disney Channel girls tween movie. It just made me sad. I just picture them being like... Why does it have to be girls? I'm watching a movie about witches. Why did it have to be girls? I was really hoping it was going to be warlocks. The only redeeming moment was Bette Midler doing a musical number on a small stage that sadly devolves into the same sequence from the first movie. Who watches the sequel 30 years later and doesn't expect some things that are same from the first movie?
That's what you want.
Her voice, her ability to underscore the lyric with her performance, just pure joy. Who can scream out book like Midler? Book! No, that wasn't close.
It was good, though.
The whole thing amounts to setting up characters for a long, crushing series of Disney Channel seasonal originals. If Disney Channel girl-centric shows and made-for-Disney Channel originals are your thing, a.k.a. direct-to-video, you'll have some fun. So that is how they judge how good something is if it's going to be direct-to-video. You know what was direct-to-video? Mandy, right? And I'm sure that got a very small independent release, but it basically was direct-to-video.
Yeah.
Movie's fucking amazing.
Right.
I'm not saying this is the same, but I'm just saying, like, direct-to-video doesn't necessarily mean shit anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you still get, like, those stupid transmorphers, like the Transformer wannabe type of bullshit that's straight to DVD. Like, there's a new one.
Sharknado.
Top Gunner. You know, like a wannabe Iron Eagle meets Top Gun type of bullshit. Yeah, you're still going to get those, but you're also going to get some great fucking movies that are straight to DVD.
Yeah, even better now. Just access.
Okay, here we go. Here's another one. Not a good sequel. I'm trying to scan it to see if it has anything to bitch about it being a girls' movie. The humor is corny, and the has way too much modern Disney TV channel feel to be a true follow-up to the original? Now, the username starts with the name Adam, so I was kind of expecting something like that. The music is bad, the acting is terrible, and the storyline is all over the place. The explanation of finding a new black flame candle has no context. The Sanderson sisters were fine, but everybody else had their character, and their characters were a huge disappointment. I'm sorry, but didn't he explain that the book showed him how to make a new black flame candle?
Yeah. Yep.
So what is this guy saying, that the explanation of a new candle doesn't exist? See, this is what I mean. Like, I feel like these people watch these movies just to complain about bullshit. And so, like, things get overshadowed.
I bet you're right, because these are ones. Yeah?
Yeah. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. Just stick with the original. Disney should have just left it at the original instead of trying to make a sequel and muddling the name and cult status of the original. Just felt rushed and slammed together without much care. I mean, as much as I don't like it compared to the first one, I don't think there's anything to like hate about it.
Yeah.
Like enough to be like, don't watch this movie. This is fucking pieces of shit.
Yeah. And I'm sure Disney really regrets it.
I mean, if I'm regrets what?
Making the movie.
Yeah, they're like,
this is what they should have done.
We should have listened to Adam on IMDb. What the fuck were we thinking? Bill Eisner's going to kill us now. No, it's awesome. It's good. It's worth a watch. The first one's so much better. I feel like the first one was a little bit darker, and I really liked that about it. I love that they wanted to kill kids so much in the first one. Yeah, I thought that
a little bit of that in here.
Barely.
Yeah,
they gave over immortality, or just to have power. I would have fucking. That's okay. Let me bitch about this about the first one. All those fucking kids were sitting outside their goddamn house. They had the potion, but yet Winifred's so fucking hellbent on vengeance and revenge that she's got to go get Danny. They could have fucking lived forever and then gone and got Danny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, as much as I love the first one's full of those fucking holes too.
Right.
Like when they were in the kiln. And the fucking CD player or the stereo has to melt first, but yet they escape the kiln and she knows French and repeating it as if the fucking stereo was going on the entire time. The entire time they were smoke hovering above the school.
Right.
Okay, that's it. I'm done. All right, everybody. Go to @Sequilibrium Podcast on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook. Send us an email about your gripes about Hocus Pocus 2, if any. And that's it.
That's all.
That's it. We got to do a Halloween sequel. So we should do a Halloween sequel.
Okay.
Maybe we should do Halloween Part 2.
Makes sense.
All right.
Let's do it.
What's today? Oh, shit. Yeah, we're going to have to do it soon because Halloween's coming up.
That's right.
All right. Halloween Part 2 is coming up next. That's Friday the 13th.